Hey, good morning to you. Terry Hansen here. Welcome back once again on Traveling with Terry. Each and every single day as I go from my home to the office, I get about, 10 or 15 minutes to spend some time with you, my favorite people on the planet, the trailblazers, hustlers, and connectors of the business world. Today, I want to chat with you a little bit about some tips and strategies to use when you are interviewing for interviewing potential new employees. So lately, in the last couple of weeks, Arcane Marketing has been growing by leaps and bounds, and we've been doing a lot of recruiting, a lot of hiring for some various different positions within our organization. And recently, my job has changed from being the vice president over client experience to production manager. And where I oversee, instead of just kind of one team, now I oversee kind of 3 teams instead. And it's been an interesting transition, and that transition will continue to happen. It's not fully over yet, but in my new role as production manager with Arcane Marketing, I'm having the opportunity and privilege to be able to interview several candidates, and it's been a fun experience. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to get to know different people and sit down in kind of intimate settings and ask questions and have questions answered. And there's, after several of these interviews, I've had a couple of insights that I just wanted to share with you. If you are, in the process of doing some hiring yourself, I thought it might make sense to share some of these things to have you consider. So one of the positions that we've been hiring for is that of an account manager. After our sales team finds a potential customer and recommends some various different internet marketing strategies that they can use, and once they sign an agreement and our partnership begins, then they're the client is basically turned over to an account manager, which is basically a fancy term for customer service representative in essence, to basically take care of them and make sure that they're super happy and that their marketing campaigns are running smoothly and they're really getting their needs met and that sort of thing. And so anyway, we've been hiring for these account manager type positions. And what's been interesting is I've had a chance to sit down and ask questions. In job interviews, it's obviously really important to qualify people, but also disqualify people. And being able to do that well means that you have a pretty deep and intimate knowledge of what the job itself requires, and who kind of have a model in your mind. So if you've got a position that you're hiring for and there's someone in that position that does a really, really phenomenal job at that position, you're smart to keep that as a model, as a template, as an example, or as an ideal in your mind. You're not trying to duplicate that person. You're trying to duplicate their performance. So you're not trying to duplicate you're not trying to find a duplicate or a copy of a human. You're just trying to identify what are the skills and the behaviors that are needed in order to perform this particular job at this level. That's what you're hiring for. And you're never going to get 100%. And so what you're truly shooting for is about an 80% fit. Find someone who's got 80% of the skills, 80% of the attitudes, 80% of the behaviors, 80% of the knowledge that they need in order to perform that job at that level that your best employee doing that job is doing. So anyway, for this account manager position, a couple of the questions that I've been asking that I think are pretty insightful and helpful in just determining, do you have the skills, the behaviors, do you have the DNA, are you going to be a fit for this type of position, are these. So one of the questions that I have a tendency to ask is, because this account manager role is predominantly a project management role, I asked them specifically related to their project management experience. And I ask a question like, when you're managing projects for, employees or companies or clients or whatever the case might be, how do you juggle all of the different balls in the air without letting any of them drop? How do you just manage projects so that they're delivered on time, on budget, on specification, according to the needs of the client, and let them just tell me some examples. Here's what I do, and here's what I don't do, and here's what I watch out for. And that's always really interesting to hear, what they do. If they've got some really insightful answers, then I know that they've got some good background. If they kind of hem and they haw and they give me kind of roundabout answers, it tells me that they don't have much project management experience. Because this account manager position requires you to coordinate a lot of pretty important details for customers, it's really important to be organized. And so one of the questions that I ask is, when you've got 1,000 details that you have to coordinate and shuffle around and make sure things are happening, how do you keep yourself organized and on task and meeting deadlines, for customers and clients and things like that? And then I'll let them elaborate and share some examples and that sort of thing. And it always concerns me when people, in essence, they say, well, I get my pencil and my paper out and I make these lists and things like that. That works, I think, very well when it comes to, if you're managing a portfolio of 5 or 10 or, clients or something like that. But when you're managing a larger quantity of clients and you're coordinating a lot of details, to some degree, you have to use technology. I mean, we're good as humans, but for crying out loud, these days we've got to leverage technology to help us just enhance our abilities to keep everything balanced. So if they say, oh, well, I use this software tool or this app or this thing or that thing, then I know that they're probably the kind of person that's going to be able to thrive pretty well in this kind of an environment. The other kind of question that I've enjoyed asking, sorry about the sun, it's bright and shiny out here. I'm loving the sun. There we go. That's a lot better. I'm loving the sun. It's blue skies here in Southeast Idaho, and it's a little cold, a little nippy, but it's beautiful. And I think by lunchtime or so, it's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So looking forward to a Easter weekend and a beautiful week. So anyway, another question that I'm enjoying asking is really understanding kind of their DNA and how they're programmed. For example, I'll say something like, there's in the world of business and just in life, we've got there's a lot of introverts out there and a lot of extroverts out there. I love introverts because they're the kind of people that they like to do their thing. They like to put their headphones in. They like to hit their checklist. Like to hit their projects. They like their space. They like to just kind of grind and get the work done. They're hustlers. They're grinders. They like to be in the zone and just get their thing done. And that's when they're kind of in their superpower. They're that sort of work, that sort of an environment where they can just focus and get their work done kind of independently. That charges their batteries. That energizes them. Extroverts, on the other hand, so with the introverts, when they are attending meetings or collaborating or coordinating with other people and there's a lot of social interaction, that actually drains their batteries. And either one is fine. But with extroverts, they're kind of the opposite. They're the kind of ones that like to collaborate and coordinate with people and interact and plan and strategize and those kinds of things. They appreciate the checklist. They appreciate the focused effort and the grinding and that sort of thing is necessary. But that sort of detail work and that sort of focused work has a tendency to drain their batteries. But the social interaction, the collaboration, the calls, the communication, that energizes them. And so I ask these people in the interviews, which one of those two categories do you fall into? Either way is fine. There's nothing wrong with either one, but where do you fall into? And I know that this account manager position is primarily a kind of a customer service, a communicator role. And so an introvert who really loves their spreadsheets, really loves their zone, really loves the headphones in and just kind of focused and grinding, that although they might be good at communicating and collaborating and talking with other people and playing that customer service role, it drains their batteries. And overall, it's emotionally and mentally, it's kind of just a stressful job. We want ultimately people who are built by DNA, by their DNA, just well suited for that particular job description and things like that. And so when they say, oh, I'm kind of more the extroverted side, I like to be in the zone, but I really thrive on collaboration and communication and providing good customer service and developing relationships, I know that they're probably a better fit just from a behavior and a DNA perspective for an account manager position than, say, an introvert might. Some people say, well, I'm kind of right in the middle, and that's fine too. But I guess I share these different examples of interview questions just to get you as managers and entrepreneurs and leaders thinking about what are the core skill sets that you need if you're hiring right now in your company. What are the core skill sets that someone needs to be pretty darn competent at in order to do a really good job at that position, at meeting expectations at that position? And it's smart to just think about what those skills really are and then cater and tailor your interview questions around that, right? If you think about the routines, the patterns, the behaviors that someone would need to have in order to be good at that job, then cater your questions around there. Think about the mindset and the attitude that people need to have, and kind of develop interview questions around those. One more quick question that speaking of kind of attitudes and behaviors is inside of Arcane Marketing right now, because we are growing and kind of an entrepreneurial company, we have a tendency to have an environment that is constantly evolving and shifting and changing. And sometimes, not always, but there's certain elements or certain aspects of the business that are kind of in a state of flux. And some people thrive in an environment where there's a lot of stability, there's a lot of security, there's a lot of routine, there's a lot of just procedures and policies and processes that are well documented, well ironed out. There's just a lot of stability there, and they operate at their best in that sort of environment. We happen to have an environment, at least right now, where because of the changes and evolutions that we are going through, some of the procedures, some of the processes aren't totally defined, and some things are changing and evolving, and so there isn't a lot of stability and routine and kind of that security right now. And some people really struggle to perform at their highest levels and their best levels in that sort of kind of some have called kind of a chaotic environment. Now, that's not a permanent thing. That's not a forever thing. That's just kind of where this chapter in our saga right now. But I always try to let people know, if you come on board, this is the reality of where we're at right now. How do you feel like you would operate in that? Is that going to be a struggle? Is that going to be a stressor? Is that going to be tough? Or do you kind of thrive in chaos a little bit? Do you like to keep things a little bit flexible and kind of wing it and go by the seat of your pants a little bit and that sort of thing? And I know that if they say, no, I really thrive and do my best when I've got routine and consistency and stability and things are mapped out and things are very clear and defined, I know that although they might be able to do the job really good, our culture right now is going to really stress them out and really cause them some heartburn. So I really try to let people know the kind of the realities of the situation if they were to be hired and come on board, what kind of environment they're going to be, and just talk about how are they the kind of people that are going to bring order to chaos, or are they the kind of people that take something that's already orderly and working well and take that to the next level and improve upon that? Where do they find their superpower and where is their strength? So anyway, I share these just examples and analogies to get you thinking about different kinds of interview questions that you can be asking as you are interviewing your potential employees. Think about attitudes, think about skills, think about behaviors, think about the kind of knowledge that they need, and develop and cater your interview questions around those kinds of things. Know the position well enough that you can kind of see through the personalities, see through the fluff a little bit, and get to kind of the DNA level and understand, how they are going to operate. And I'll share another resource with you just really quick, I think everybody knows who Tony Robbins is. He's been around for 20, 30 years as a personal development and motivation guru. He's tremendous. On his website, he has a DISC assessment. DISC is an acronym that stands for 4 quadrants: dominant, influencer, steady, relator, compliant. 4 quadrants. Think of it kind of a personality assessment, but it's more behavioral in nature. Anyway, he's got a free assessment that you can use. You go to his website. I think it's tonyrobbins.com /DISC, maybe, DISC. Anyway, there you can take an assessment and get, a 20 or 30 page PDF document that is basically a behavioral overview and assessment of how people think and act and behave how they talk and interact with other people. And you can look at that a little bit as an X-ray for people that you want to hire. It's free, and so take advantage of it and utilize it. So use that as part of the hiring process so that you don't extend an offer and hire somebody blind and kind of scratching your head on what to do with this person and how to manage them, how to motivate them, how to communicate with them. So we can talk more about that later on. But anyway, great to be with you guys this morning. If you're interviewing, I hope you'll take some time to really do 3 things. Number 1, I hope you identify an employee in that current position that's crushing it and doing an amazing job. Number 2, boil what they do down into the core skills, behaviors, attitudes, and knowledge that are needed for success, right? And then set your expectation that when you're interviewing, you're trying to find somebody that's 80% amazing in those 4 areas, okay? And then number 3 is when you're interviewing people, obviously tailor and cater your interview questions around those things to determine how close are you to being a good fit in these areas. And if you'll do that, the chances of you hiring a really good person that's going to be an amazing fit for you go up dramatically. So anyway, great to be with you guys this morning on Traveling with Terry. Hope our time together has been helpful for you. Hope you got some benefit out of this. Post your comments down below. What are some of your favorite interview questions that you like to use in your interviews that kind of reveal the duds from the dudes, or the I don't know, the good ones from the bad ones, disqualify and qualify, right? Who are you interviewing right now? What positions are you interviewing for? What are you looking for? And as always, if you could use some help, one of the clients that we are working with right now, we're not doing any digital marketing for them. We're actually helping them with a recruiting campaign. They've got some open and available positions, and they're finding Career Builder and Monster.com and Indeed and Craigslist, and all of those places are good, but sometimes the quality of the leads, the opportunities that are coming in aren't that great. And they reached out to us and said, we need a higher quality candidate. Can you guys help us, advertise these positions on Facebook and on LinkedIn? And we said, absolutely. And so we're actually right now doing a recruiting campaign for them to help them generate better quality candidates. So if you're kind of in that same boat and you're getting kind of a lot of duds, and just the quality of candidates is not there, maybe it's time to take the recruiting efforts to the next level. And we've got some cool strategies that can help you target really, really good people and get your job descriptions in front of them. So anyway, great being with you. If you could use some help with any of that, be sure to message us, reach out to us, give us a call. Just Google us, arcanemarketing.com, or message us here through Facebook, or however you need to get a hold of us. So anyway, great being with you guys. Keep up the good work. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the beautiful weather. And can't wait to see you back once again, right back here tomorrow on Traveling with Terry. Take good care, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you know every company out there has what we call digital marketing blind spots? These are simple, hidden opportunities for growing and improving your marketing that most of the time people miss. Go to www.arcanemarketing.com and take advantage of our Rise and Ignite digital marketing analysis. It's 100% free to get fresh new insights and ideas to make what you're already doing that much better in 2021.